Hello, you beautiful gods and goddesses. This is Tawanda Van, Celestial Earth Goddess, and today, black people, I just want to talk. I'm going to talk about some not random, I'm just going to talk about different things that have been on my mind. And let's get to it. Okay, first thing I'm going to talk about is Stephon Clark, since that seems to be the most current thing. Okay, because of some ignorant shit that he said about black women, like whether it was a few years ago or currently before he died, there has been some discord about supporting him from black women. Now, did what happened to him, was it horrible? Hell yeah. That was some fucked up racist shit. And we don't condone it. We don't think it's okay. But at the same time, he still has to be held accountable for who he was as a person. Him dying does not negate him from scrutiny. So if there are any black women that choose not to support him, the person, so be it. Does that mean we support what happened to him? Hell no. And plenty of black women have said that. We are always going to be down for the cause. We always want to make sure us as a people are good, safe, loving, empowered, and all that good stuff. But black women and black people in general are just tired of dealing with traitors and racist people. It's just that simple. So we just have to accept the fact that some people are rightfully not going to support him. Do we have empathy for what happened to him? Yes. Do we have empathy or sympathy for what his family's going through? Yes. Especially his grandmother. Like, I just hope she gets whatever solace she needs, because she's going to need it. But at the end of the day, everybody has a right to express their feelings. Everybody has a right to their feelings. And it is what it is. Okay. Next up, cultural appropriation versus cultural appreciation. Okay, basically, cultural appropriation is when someone takes another person's culture, repackage it, make it seem like it's theirs, and just exploit the hell out of it. Now, with cultural appreciation, that's the exact opposite. They take another person's culture, they love it, embrace it, and they pay homage to it. Now, some people feel like artists like Bruno Mars, Justin Timberlake, Adele, Sam Smith, and Robin Thicke, and maybe some other non-black artists are culturally appropriating. As far as Bruno Mars, I see no cultural appropriation personally. I see a dude who grew up with the same music and culture that we did, and he loved it, and he performs it. Does he make money off of it? Duh. Whoever, that's his job. Just like when we do our thing, we plan on making money. So that's not really an issue. But he pays homage to those that came before him, to the black people that created that music that he performs. So I'm not exactly sure why. To me, it seems like the reason we're mad at him and other artists that embrace the music that we created is because we feel like they're replacing us, and they're, because the powers that be, the white-owned record labels and production companies and distribution companies, they are trying to push us out of our own music. The powers that be, not the artist. Sometimes I think we expect more from non-black artists than we should. Should they speak out about it? Of course they should, and some of them have. But at the same time, they're doing what they need to do just like we are. But they're not appropriating our music, Now, some people that I can say appropriate our music were people like Elvis Presley. The dude that had the song A Whole Lot of Shaking Going On, I can't remember his name for nothing. But one of Elvis Presley's big songs, Hound Dog, that was a black woman's song. Sung that song way before he did. He took her damn song and made it seem like it was his creation and got rich off of it. That was some fuck shit. That was cultural appropriation to the hilt. Miley Cyrus, you know, thinking twerking and whatever, black people, oh, it's so cute, cute black people, let me do that. That was some cultural appropriation bullshit. And then she was bad at it too. That makes it worse. That Catch Me Outside bitch, that talentless, ignorant ass chick, that was cultural appropriation. And that, whatever that dude's name is, y'all know who he is, that had her on his damn song or produced a song for, I don't know what the fuck he did. But what do you expect from a dude that says shit like, I don't like dark skins, I like only light skins? He's ignorant his damn self. So I think I can understand our anger sometimes, well, anytime. I understand that we feel like we're being pushed out of our own shit, because that is our creation. Most of the musical genres were something that we created, and sometimes people do use our stuff and exploit it and don't give us any credit. But there are some that don't, and we have to figure out who is and who isn't. Like, there is a fine line sometimes, but a lot of times it's very obvious. I just don't feel that a lot of the people that we say have culturally appropriated have. They just simply have a love for the music. You can't expect them not to be influenced by stuff that they grew up listening to. That's just nonsense. That's just like if a black person grew up in an environment where all they listened to was country music. I don't know if that's our genre or not, because, you know, but our music is going to probably sound kind of like country music, whether it's country or not. So come on, like, we just have to use better discernment with that. Okay, now speaking of cultural appropriation, let's get to black people accusing other black people of cultural appropriation. That's the most nonsensical, idiotic thing I've ever heard. I've seen and this does not apply to every black person, so those that it don't apply to, you shouldn't be getting mad about it. I've seen Africans say stuff about African Americans in particular. You know, they'll talk about how we, you know, are we using being African as a trend? Last time I checked, I've been this way all my life, and so has most of the black people in my family. You know, I can't help that some of my ancestors were physically removed from Africa, but that didn't stop me from being African. First of all, let's get that fucking straight. Second, black people all over the world have been bashing each other, saying funky shit to each other. Africans that said some funky shit about the children of the African diaspora, especially African Americans. African Americans have said funky stuff about Africans. Other children from the Latin and Caribbean areas have said funky shit about us and Africans. And the Africans have said funky shit about them too. We all are guilty of treating each other in a shitty manner. So ain't nobody exempt from that. And if we're trying to get close to our African roots, we should not be getting persecuted by Native Africans. You look ridiculous, first of all. Second, if we're doing something that's not right, how about you correct us and get off that fucking high horse some of y'all sitting on? Because ain't none of us got the right to be talking down to each other. Especially when so much crazy shit is going on in Africa that you could be talking to. Like them Asian and white people that's raping the country of its resources. Marrying some of y'all just to get citizenship. And the Arabs enslaving people in Libya. I believe that's Libya. If I got the wrong country, my bad. But either way, they're enslaving the black people. And that's probably what the agenda was. It's funny how after Gaddafi got assassinated, that shit started happening. Maybe, and it probably was happening, maybe it was happening the whole damn time. But either way, we all globally got to fix ourselves. We all have the same issues. Colonization, slavery, same difference. Now, actually, it's the same thing. It ain't different. It's the exact same damn thing. It's just a different word. They're called synonyms. So can't none of us act like we're exempt from the effects of oppression. We all got to get our shit together. And we all have to come together as one. If I go to a country where there's people that look like me, I shouldn't have to worry about whether I'm safe or not. I should automatically feel welcome. Just like if you come over here, you should automatically feel welcome. Are there going to be some dumbass people within our race that tries to do some stupid shit? Yes. But that's a handful compared to all of us. Stop it. Okay. As far as being authentically African, some of us got shit twisted. Stop trying to look down on people that you don't think are black enough, or they're acting black, or they're acting African enough. You wearing African garbs, wearing your hair how it naturally grows out of your head, or wearing it in locks does not make you authentically fucking African. Because there's a lot of y'all that look African but act very Eurocentric. Even down to the person that you have on your arm, or whose arm that you're on. So the way you dress should not even, that should be a moot point. Oh, and to go back to cultural appropriation, if we're gonna have people coming at us like that, we can easily say y'all are culturally appropriating because y'all dress like Americans, y'all listen to rap music, y'all are performing rap, but most of us don't. Bottom line is, we all are influenced by each other's culture. And if you pay attention, regardless of where our black asses are from, we all are very similar, down to the way we walk, talk, dress, act, even the way we discipline our children. And as far as discipline, whether you agree with capital punishment or not, in Africa back in the day, our ancestors were not telling us to go to the corner and sit, or let me count to 3. Y'all know better than that shit. Anyway, back to the authentically African. Just because, say, women, for instance, they wear weave, wigs, or they have their hair straight sometimes, does not mean we forgot that we're African, does not mean that we don't know we're black. The blackness in me did not go away because I decided to use a damn flat iron 2 days ago for my hair. Trust and believe. It just means I felt like wearing my hair. I had it natural right before that. So apparently, I just like wearing different styles. Guess what? We're creative, passionate, colorful people. And it's going to show in our outer appearance. You know, you can't contain all this creativity. What the fuck is wrong with y'all? And as far as people wearing different hair colors, that's just as authentic, because if you go to certain places in Africa, for instance, the Dinka tribe, the men, they use the urine of their cattle on their head to make their hair like this bronzy orangey color. What's in most hair color? Ammonia. What's in urine? Ammonia. There you go. You have certain tribes, they use that red clay and they put it on their skin and in their hair, you know, and you know, they adorn their hair in different ways. As far as wigs and weaves and even straightening hair, the people in Kemet, aka Egypt, was doing that long before they knew what a European was. So, you know, we created that shit years ago. So we need to stop trying to judge each other based on our appearance, and stop assuming that because we do things a certain way that it makes us not African. You know, we've never been a homogenous group. We are a diverse group of people, and we all over the place. So we have different cultures, and we have different ways of looking. It is, you know, again, stop it. Now this is mainly to white people or any other person of color that aren't black. Okay, if y'all are dealing with black people, y'all should at least take the time to understand what we go through, the good and the bad of being black. If you are in a relationship with a black person, you should feel obligated to understand who they are, not just the good but the bad. Both go together, you know. Like, if you don't plan on doing that, you have no business with any of us. And us as black people, if we can't be authentically black, and I'm just simply meaning embracing ourselves and whoever we are as black people with those people, we ain't got no business being with them. We need to get our shit together if that's how we are. If you have to worry about, am I going to offend them if I speak about race issues? If you scared of talking about your truth, you don't need to be around anybody that makes you feel that way. But back to the white and the other people of color. If you get in a serious relationship with a black person and you have children with them, 9 times out of 10, the world is going to see them as black children unless they can pass. And even if they can pass, that's a moot fucking point. The bottom line is, you need to make sure you're not perpetuating any racist bullshit to these kids. You need to make sure you are not still that racist white privileged person, because white privilege does exist and it has nothing to do with money. There's more to white privilege than having tangible wealth. Okay, that's enough of that. Okay, now to the black people who say we ain't African. I have yet to see anybody give an intelligent reason of why we aren't African. I'll say maybe the one that came close is the people that say we're Native Americans and we were already here. In a way, that may be true, but for the most part, it's not. And not calling yourself African or calling yourself so-called black people or the brown people, that's not going to take away the fact that if you did a DNA test, guess where it's going to go back to? Africa. And you could say DNA tests aren't valid, but let's be real, people. Because if that's the case, a lot of people in the criminal element wouldn't have been exonerated if DNA was not valid. Because a lot of people that got accused of crimes got exonerated because they realized, hey, they weren't even there. You know, and DNA is a part of, you know, genetics, genealogy, all that good stuff. It's a more in-depth part of it. It's used. I would never denounce my Africanness. That don't make no damn sense. Excuse me. And I don't care if your people were slaves or not. That doesn't negate your Africanness. I don't care if you look like Native Americans. That doesn't negate your Africanness. That just simply means that you probably have some Native American ancestry too. I mean, hell, I have European and a smidgen of South Asian ancestry, which is like Aborigines, Samoan type shit. Oh, and the Aboriginal thing, I know that means original man, but we know there's a certain group of people that are also classified as black that are considered Aboriginals, and that's not us. We also know, you know, there are people from the Mongoloid group that are classified as Native Americans. That's not us. You know, if you have Native American ancestry like my younger sister does, because we have different fathers, so her DNA is slightly different than mine, and she has like about 2% Native American ancestry, and it goes to Mexico. So, and the African part that we have that's similar goes to West, Central East, and South Africa. And even for her, she has Northwest African ancestry from her dad's side. So, I mean, they may not be 100% accurate, but they damn close. And you know, I can give you other examples all day, but the bottom line is, you know, there is no valid reason for us to say that we aren't African. We can act like we ain't African all day long, but all I got to say is, if you feel that way, I don't even understand why you're in spaces where people are gravitating towards their African culture. But it is what it is. Next. Okay, that leads us to the conscious community. A lot of people seem to really have a disdain for the conscious community, but newsflash, people, whenever human nature is involved, there's going to be a little discord. That discord should not make us disown ourselves, Conscious just simply means you are aware. Being aware does not necessarily mean you will be enlightened. You either going to use it to elevate yourself, or you're going to use it to take advantage of other people. Like, being conscious does not make you righteous. You can be righteous and not conscious, and vice versa. So, you know, don't allow a handful of people to make you even dismiss the word. It's like, it doesn't make any sense. The conscious community has good, bad, and indifferent, because that's just how human nature works. Some of us are here for the greater good, and some of us are here to take advantage of people. And there will be times when even the people who have the best intentions can sometimes get in their ego. But fortunately, most of those people will realize that, and then they'll learn from it and do better. Now, the last thing I want to just say is, as a people, we need to handle each other with care better than what we're doing. A lot of us who have received a lot of knowledge, or some level of knowledge, and our consciousness has risen, we tend to think we're high and mighty. And you forget, your ass wasn't always that conscious. Some of y'all might have been classified as straight up coons, and I don't use that word lightly, but I gotta be honest, some of y'all would have made people wonder if you knew you were black. So you need to accept the fact that somebody might not be on the level you on, and that they may need to take more time than you did. But I don't think we need to stop being so hard on each other. Like, I feel like we just are so quick to be harsh and judgmental towards each other. And as far as being pro-black, there's no one way to be pro-black. All of us are not going to agree. That's whether it's eating habits, ideologies, culture. As far as buying black, I say you buy black as much as you can. Sometimes you're not going, the stuff you buy ain't gonna come from a black person. That don't mean you hate, you're not being pro-black. Pro-black means you for, basically, in a nutshell, you for being black, and you doing whatever you can to uplift your blackness. And you buy black as much as you can, whenever you can. There's never been a time in my life where we didn't contribute to black businesses. We would go to a black business before we went anywhere. So some stuff that I've gotten more knowledge about, I grew up in that kind of train of thought anyway, so it wasn't hard to maintain. It wasn't hard to understand. So I think most of us have had a level of consciousness probably before we even left the womb, and our families made sure we got more or maintained it, or whatever the case is. Okay, I've done this video long enough. This is the longest video I've ever done, but it was a lot of stuff I wanted to get off my chest, and I just felt it was important to say. So I'm done. Please leave a comment, please like, please share, and subscribe if you feel like I have given you any insight on anything. Or just subscribe, shoot. And I appreciate anyone that looks at this video, whether you are a subscriber or not, whether you choose to subscribe or not. Okay, until next time, you beautiful people, I love you and take care.